We whisper of asteroids, of solar flares, of our own choking planet. We fear the day Earth expels us, a dying cough, a final gasp. But what if the end wasn't a violent expulsion, but a quiet, desperate choice? What if one day humanity simply left? Imagine the ultimate exodus, not a forced retreat, but a deliberate, species-wide departure. World ships, starbound, leaving behind the only home we've ever known. But here's the cosmic nightmare. What happens to Earth when the last human breath is drawn, not on its surface, but light years away? What becomes of the blue marble, the swirling masterpiece? Once its most restless, destructive, magnificent children simply vanish into the void. The decision wasn't a sudden flash of genius. It was a slow, creeping dread, an existential terror that had finally clawed its way from the fringes of scientific speculation to the very core of our collective consciousness. We had pushed our blue marble to its breaking point, not just the planet, but us. Or perhaps the cosmos itself had finally dealt its hand. A rogue star, an ancient black hole, a solar flare that promised to strip our atmosphere bare. The reasons in the end became secondary to the terrifying, undeniable truth. Earth, our cosmic cradle, was no longer a viable long-term home. This wasn't some last-ditch scramble from an apocalypse. This was the ultimate strategic retreat, a species-wide gambit against the crushing indifference of the universe. The brilliant minds, the mad visionaries, the tireless engineers, they coalesced, driven by a singular, audacious, terrifying bet. Humanity would build its own salvation. We called them arcs, not just ships, but entire worlds encapsulated, hurtling fortresses of life and memory. Picture it, not a single vessel, but a fleet of colossal biospheres, each one a self-sustaining city, a floating fragment of Earth's ecosystems, designed to carry a piece of our very soul across the unfathomable void. These were structures so immense, so complex, they devoured planets' worth of resources. We stripped asteroids bare, mined the moon, even cannibalized our own dying satellites. Every single resource, every last ounce of ingenuity, every waking moment for generations was poured into these behemoths. We were building not just transportation, but destiny. It was the ultimate cosmic credit card, maxed out, with no intention of ever paying it back. The day of departure, can you even imagine it? The final, agonizing farewell. Billions watched from orbital platforms, from the dwindling cities below, as the first arcs, shimmering with the light of 1,000 untold stories, detached from Earth's gravitational embrace. A silent, collective gasp, a million tears, a million prayers, and one singular, audacious hope. The engines ignited, not with a roar, but a hum that vibrated through the very fabric of space-time, a sound that sang of desperate survival and impossible dreams. Humanity wasn't just leaving, it was unleashing itself upon the cosmos, a desperate, beautiful, terrifying gamble against oblivion. What would we become? Untethered from our origin, what would we find? The last arc's engines faded, a distant, dying whisper in the vacuum, and then a silence descended upon Earth, unlike any it had ever known. Not the silence of a quiet forest, nor the hush of a winter night. This was the silence of absolute, profound absence. The silence of a stage after the final curtain falls, the audience gone, the actors vanished. Think about it. One moment, 7 billion souls, a cacophony of life, ambition, despair, love, and endless, relentless noise. The next, nothing. Just the wind whistling through empty skyscrapers, the waves crashing against deserted shores, the sun rising on a world utterly, irrevocably abandoned. The decay was swift, brutal, and astonishingly beautiful in its ruthlessness. Within hours, the lights went out. Power grids, starved of human oversight, sputtered and died. HVAC systems failed, plunging grand structures into stagnant heat or biting cold. Within days, the first cracks appeared. Roads, no longer patched, began to buckle. Bridges, unmaintained, started to sag. The intricate web of human infrastructure, a testament to our collective will, was revealed for what it truly was, a fragile temporary skin stretched over the planet's enduring rock and soil. Water, our lifeblood, became our undoing. Without pumps, pipes burst, subways flooded, their tunnels transforming into subterranean rivers. Basements became fetid pools. The concrete jungles, once vibrant hives of activity, began to weep, then crumble. Nature, patient and unyielding, began its surgical reclamation. Weeds, the ultimate opportunists, erupted through every crack in the pavement, every fissure in a wall. Vines, green tendrils of vengeance, began to scale buildings, slowly, relentlessly, consuming every surface. Animals, bewildered at first, then emboldened, emerged from the shadows. Packs of wolves roamed empty highways, their howls echoing through ghost towns. Deer grazed in what were once manicured parks. Fish, unmolested by nets, swarmed through rivers and oceans, their populations exploding. The air, once thick with exhaust and industry, began to clear, revealing skies of an impossible pristine blue. The stars, once dimmed by light pollution, blazed with a ferocity few had ever witnessed. It was a stunning, terrifying reversal. Humanity's grand achievements, its towering monuments, its intricate systems, were not just falling into disrepair. They were being actively, violently erased by the very planet we had so carelessly exploited. This isn't just a story of what could happen. It's a chilling mirror reflecting our own transient existence. If you're captivated by these cosmic what-ifs, by the relentless march of time and the humbling power of the universe, then smash that like button and subscribe. Join our journey into the deepest, darkest, most mind-bending corners of reality. What you're seeing now is just the beginning of Earth's ultimate transformation. Decades bled into centuries, centuries into millennia. The initial burst of decay had given way to a slower, more deliberate erasure. Nature, no longer merely reclaiming, was now digesting. The steel skeletons of skyscrapers, once piercing the clouds like defiant needles, began to rust with a vengeance. The iron, exposed to the elements, oxidized into a bloody red dust, staining the ground beneath. Gravity, wind, and rain, the planet's silent, tireless sculptors, worked in concert. Buildings softened, then sloughed off their outer layers like ancient skin. Floors collapsed, walls crumbled, until only a few resilient cores remained, looking less like architecture and more like craggy geological formations. Concrete, that seemingly indestructible bedrock of our civilization, proved surprisingly fragile over the long haul. The freeze-thaw cycles, the relentless expansion of roots, the ceaseless abrasion of windblown sand, these forces ground it down into fine particulate matter. Roads became faint scars, then vanished entirely, swallowed by advancing forests or desert dunes. Our vast networks of highways, once arteries of commerce, became nothing more than forgotten pathways for migrating herds. Plastics, our most enduring legacy, offered a tougher challenge, but even they were not immune. Sunlight, relentless UV radiation, slowly embrittled them, turning them brittle and chalky. Wind and water then broke them down into smaller and smaller fragments until they were microscopic particles, absorbed into the soil, carried by the currents, a ghostly, unnoticeable trace of a long-dead civilization. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch, once a swirling monument to our waste, eventually dispersed, its plastic shards becoming part of the ocean floor sediment, a faint, almost invisible layer in the geological record. Nuclear power plants, once ticking time bombs of latent destruction, eventually succumbed. Their containment structures, designed for human maintenance, failed. Radiation, a fleeting, dangerous whisper, leaked into the environment. But even this, over the unimaginable stretches of deep time, would be diluted, absorbed, its isotopes decaying until they were indistinguishable from the planet's background radiation. The Earth, in its cosmic wisdom, simply metabolized the poison, integrating it back into its endless cycle. The very shape of the continents began to shift, imperceptibly at first. Then, with the slow grinding power of plate tectonics, mountains rose and fell, coastlines advanced and retreated. What were once bustling ports became inland plains or submerged reefs. Our cities, our nations, our carefully drawn borders all became meaningless. The planet shed its human skin, revealing the ancient primordial being beneath. It was a brutal, beautiful lesson in humility. The Earth didn't care about our monuments, our empires, our desperate attempts at immortality. It simply was, and it was erasing us, not with malice, but with the indifferent, patient certainty of cosmic time. eons later, a billion years, perhaps two, the sun, a little older, a little redder, still warmed the blue marble, but this was not the Earth we knew, not even the Earth of a million years after the Exodus. This was a world utterly, breathtakingly alien in its pristine beauty. The continents had shifted dramatically, reconfigured by the slow dance of tectonic plates, new mountain ranges, jagged and raw, pierced skies cleansed of all human particulate, vast ancient oceans, their depths unplumbed by any human vessel, teemed with life evolved through countless, unobserved epochs, forests, immense and untamed, covered entire landmasses, their canopies stretching for thousands of miles, a verdant, unbroken blanket. No roads dissected them, no power lines marred their pristine expanse. Rivers, wide and wild, carved new paths through the landscape, their waters crystal clear, reflecting a sky unmarred by contrails, the air crisp and pure, hummed with the symphony of a billion unseen creatures, the rustle of leaves, the chirping of insects, the calls of apex predators that had never known the fear of a hunter's gun. Would there be any trace left of us? A cosmic archaeologist, drifting through the void and stumbling upon this reborn Earth, would have to search with almost desperate precision. Perhaps deep beneath a new ocean, a faint, almost invisible layer of microplastics, a geological signature of an industrial age, or buried beneath a mile of sediment, a tiny compressed vein of artificial carbon, a whisper of a forgotten city's foundation, the very deepest, most protected sites, perhaps a handful of the most robust nuclear waste repositories, designed to last for tens of thousands of years, might still exist, their contents inert, their purpose lost to the ages, but they would be anomalies, geological curiosities, utterly devoid of meaning without a Rosetta Stone to decipher their origins. No towering statues, no crumbling colosseums, no forlorn pyramids. Every single monument, every steel beam, every concrete slab, every last shard of glass would have been recycled, reabsorbed, utterly erased by the planet's relentless geological and biological processes. Humanity's grand narrative, our millennia of struggle and triumph, would be less than a footnote in Earth's vast, indifferent biography. The planet would hum with new life, new ecosystems, new evolutionary paths, all unfolding on a stage that had been meticulously, patiently scrubbed clean. It would be a world that had forgotten us entirely, a vibrant, living testament to the ultimate impermanence of even the most dominant species, a silent, green, blue paradise, as if we had never existed at all. And perhaps that was the greatest gift we could ever give it. So what does this cosmic thought experiment truly unveil? It's not just about the awesome, terrifying power of nature to reclaim, to erase. It's about our place in the universe, a fleeting flicker against a backdrop of unimaginable time. We launched ourselves into the void, a desperate, audacious gamble for survival. But in doing so, we bequeathed Earth the ultimate silence, the profound gift of a clean slate. Our legacy, then, isn't etched in stone or steel, for those are fleeting. Our true legacy might be the emptiness we left behind, the space for a billion new stories to unfold on a world reborn. Tell me what you liked or disliked about this video. What do you think could be changed to make it better? I read every comment and will respond to every suggestion.